Today I got a second video of you about my tongue piercing, because today I'm filming it. It's 2 weeks and 2 days ago that I got it. So I got to change it to a shorter bar, and yeah, I thought it'd be a nice time to do an update video. Well, as I said in the last video, the swelling was basically almost gone in 1 week. Well, not really almost gone, but I guess like halfway gone. Then 5 days later the swelling was completely gone, but I did wait for the full 2 weeks before I switched it to a shorter bar, because they say 2 weeks and I was like, okay, I'll just comply. And as far as the soreness goes, it's only a bit sore now in the mornings after, like, you know, you've slept all night and haven't used your tongue, or after like hours of not talking or eating. Then it can be a bit sore because it's still healing. But in terms of eating, it's not really a problem anymore. It's just, you know, it's there, but it's not really a problem anymore. I still do notice that I try to not let food actually get onto the piercing, because I'm just paranoid that it'll, like the food will get into the hole or something. Well, I don't think it can, but you never know, so yeah. But yeah, it's really like, well, it's basically, it feels fine now. The only thing that did really, the only thing that did really annoy me at the end of the second week was the fact that, like, the bar was really, really long. I can show you, I still have the bar here. Wait, yeah. So this was the, I'm gonna hold this. This was the shorter bar. Yeah, I'll just hold it like this. Longer bar, sorry. Yep. I'm making this way more complicated than it is. So this was the longer bar, just in comparison. And this is I hope you can see, a regular sized barbel. So yeah, it's easy to see the difference. There's like half a centimeter of a difference between them. And yeah. So you can imagine, by the time that your tongue isn't swollen anymore, it gets kind of annoying to have a really long bar in there, because it's just, you know, it's in the way. Like, I kept almost biting on it, and it was just, you know, in the way. I couldn't stick out my tongue because it would get caught against my teeth. So yeah, I was really happy when the 2 week mark passed and I could finally change it. Now, if you're really like scared that you won't be able to, like, you know, get the other one out, get the old one out, or get the new one in, you can always go to a piercer and let them do it. I did it myself, but you know, like, if you try to do it yourself and you fail, then you have to go to a piercer anyway. So if you're really unsure, then I just recommend going to a piercer and let them do it. If you do it yourself, then you also have to keep mind of the, huh? I know that's proper English, but anyways, you also have to, like, be mindful of what material you use, because not every material is suitable for healing piercing. Here in the Netherlands, it's always pierced with titanium, because it's like completely nickel free. So yeah, I use surgical steel for like the shorter one that I'm wearing right now. At least I just use a surgical steel one. I'm making no sense. The point is, you know, like, titanium is good, surgical steel is good, but don't use plastic or bioplast or gold or whatever, because those just aren't suitable for a healing piercing. Oh, and if you're sensitive to nickel, then I would really recommend going for titanium, because that contains absolutely no nickel, while surgical steel does contain a little bit. So, now there's different sorts of piercing jewelry, of course. I personally recommend using one with just, you know, a ball as a closure thing. You know, yeah, like with the thing you screw on, that would be a ball. I use one with. I hope you can see, I used one that it used to have gem in it, but it fell out after a few days. So I'm gonna have to order a new one, because it was really pretty. Anyways, but the downside is that, like, the top thing is flat. Like, it's a flat circle. So it's kind of, I think it makes it a bit more sore. So I personally recommend going for a ball, because it's easier to clean too. But yeah, I changed it into this, so I'm just gonna keep it at this for the next 2 weeks, because, you know, I don't want to change it again. Because I'm not supposed to yet, so yeah. The length is another thing to keep in mind. Everyone's tongue is different. Most people, I think, would go best for a 16mm one in length when they first change it, because your tongue might still be a little bit swollen. So I went for a 16mm one. They also sell a lot of 14mm ones, at least where I got it. So yeah, so just kind of, yeah. It sort of depends on how long or how thick your tongue is. I'd recommend going for the longest one, just, you know, to be sure that it fits, because you can always buy a shorter one, but you know, at least the longer one will always fit in it. While if you have one that's too short, then it'll like really grab your tongue, you know, like it will really be too short. And you know, like you're supposed, when you stick out your tongue and lay the bottom ball against your, you know, lower teeth, you're supposed to see a little bit of distance between like the top part and your tongue. Like, you know, there's got to be some space left. A really important thing about changing is hygiene, because you don't want to get, you know, dirty jewelry in it or whatever. So what I did, you could always do this, you could also do this with mouthwash, but I used sea salt soap for it. I just put the new one, like unscrewed the ball, because for this one the top part doesn't unscrew, so I only unscrewed the bottom ball. And I just put it in a like little plate of sea salt soak. Then I took out the other one, put it in the jar of sea salt soak, took out the already soaked one, the new one, and put that in. So, you know, it was sea salt soaked before I put it in there. And, you know, then it's clean, you know, that's important, because, you know, you're going to put it in a still fresh piercing, so, you know, it's just safer to just clean it beforehand. The reason for also cleaning the one that I took out, even though I wasn't going to put it in again, well, it's probably just clear. I mean, it's been in my mouth for 2 weeks, so, you know, it's better to clean it before putting it, you know, like in a jar with other piercings and stuff, and it will be gross otherwise. So the most difficult thing that most people say about changing your tongue piercing is the fact that it's really slippery, because, you know, it's in your mouth, it's wet, so yeah. What I did is just use gloves, which was something I read about on a forum about piercings. So yeah, that's a really useful tip actually, because with gloves you're like, you know, I usually don't like gloves because I can't really feel what I'm doing, but you do have a good grip. So, you know, but while it might be a little bit more difficult to actually get the ball on the bar, you know, at least you get a good grip, so you can really like screw it on tightly so it won't fall off, because you don't want that. So yeah, for me that worked perfectly. What I just did is like I pressed on the top part of the piercing, and I just put the ball like in my hand, in my fingers like this, so the hole was like on top. And then just screwed it on, and it took me about 2 to 3 minutes to get it on there, but you know, it worked eventually, so yeah. So that's really all I have to say about my tongue piercing for now. I might make a video, and I think I will make a video in another 2 weeks when, you know, the piercing is 4 weeks old and I can just change to whatever I want. About how I, you know, changed my tongue piercing. So, you know, it's probably easier to see than to understand how I changed it from my very unlogical explanation probably. So yeah, I'll just show it, it'll be more clear I guess. So yeah, so that'll be in another 2 weeks. For now I really don't have much else to say about my tongue piercing, except for the fact that I still really love it. And yeah, so I hope this video was useful to people, or at least fun to watch. And thank you very much for watching, and I hope to see you next time. Bye!